So I never really know how to start my videos because I'm still new to this. But we're going to get right into it. So yesterday, I told y'all I would come and explain everything that happened yesterday with my treatment. So yesterday, well, actually Monday, I called the hospital because I hadn't received a call regarding, you know, when you have an appointment, they call you to confirm that you still able to come for your appointment, to let you know everything and blah 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 blah. So I never got the call. So I called them on Monday and I'm like, hey, I ain't never received this call. You know what's going on? And the nurse was like, oh, you not scheduled until March 15th. And I'm like, no, my treatment is supposed to be tomorrow. Like, what's going on? So he was like, oh, okay, well, when was your last treatment? I said, oh, it was August 31st, which was August 31st of 2021, of course. So he was like, okay, what's your phone number? I'm going to give you a call back. I'm going to talk to the other nurse who's in charge of setting up the appointments. So I was like, okay. So he ends up calling me back. He's like, oh, well, we can get you in next week because this week is all booked. And whenever you are getting a certain treatment, they have to put the order in a week in advance. So at this point, I'm freaking out because I've been in pain for like 2 months. Like I have been waiting on this treatment for 2 months. Like, so I'm upset. And my boyfriend had already took off, y'all. He had took off. He not in the military. He got a civilian job. So he got to put in that time. And if he don't work, he don't get paid. So I'm like, I don't like this. So I call my boyfriend. I'm like, hey, they saying I can't get my treatment until next week, and I don't want to go alone, right? So I'm like, what day should I do it? He's like, just whichever day as soon as possible, I'll make it work. I'm like, all right, cool. So I end up calling the nurse back and I'm like, okay, well, I can do it, the earliest day, which would have been next Friday. He was like, oh, well, it looks like the nurse already put you in for this Friday at 07:30. So I'm like, I'm crying at this point because I was just crying on the phone with my boyfriend. So I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So boom, super excited, got my treatment scheduled and everything. So Friday come, we wake up 5:30 in the morning because I have to drop my daughter off by 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish, so I can be at the hospital by 7:30, checked in and everything. So we get there and the man at the front desk is like, what's your name? Because usually when you have your treatment, they have all of the files at the front already ready to, for like when people come in, they check in because they start treatments in the morning. In the office, they do, MS treatments, chemo. They do all of that stuff in there. It's in the infusion center. So he's like, he's not seeing my file and all of this stuff. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So they like, oh, can you sit down or whatever? So they in the back, they trying to figure everything out. This woman comes up and she's like, oh, have y'all been helped? And I was like, kinda. They trying to find my file. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, oh, what's your name? And all of this stuff. So she's looking up my information and she's like, well, you don't have an appointment today. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I don't have no appointment? Like, I spoke with them on Monday and they told me to come in today at 07:30. So they figured out with the nurses amongst themselves what was going on. Apparently, the nurse that was in charge of scheduling my appointment wasn't there that day. So they had to figure something else out because I was already late on my treatment because I was supposed to have my treatment Tuesday and it's now Friday. So she calls down to the nurse that's in charge of the putting in the orders for the medication. And she explains the story and everything. And they were able to put my order in. So you have to put in an order before, before they can go to the pharmacy and get all of the medication. You have to put the order in. And they have to write up the order. So she spoke to her and said that she can get my order in, but it would take like an hour and a half. So they were able to get me to the back. And once they got me to the back, that's where they, of course, you know, started the IV and all my other medications. And then I was able to get my treatment. But once I got done with that treatment, I was out of it. All I wanted to do was eat and go to sleep. Of course, I couldn't because I have a daughter. So I have things to do. But I was ready to just check out. I was ready to check out because I couldn't do it no more. I was in pain, and the one thing that just hurt the most was my abdomen. And I think it's because all of the medications and stuff was just flushing out. I was constantly going to the bathroom, of course, because I was getting, you know, the saline, and that always just, you know, make you go pee because it's hydrating you. But my abdomen was hurting so bad. My back was still hurting. And then one of the medications that they gave me, it just made me feel so drowsy. I was so sluggish. Like, it was unreal. Like, all I wanted to do was come home, take a shower, and go to bed. And when I finally was able to get in the bed, I crashed out. I took my sleeping pills and I was out of it. Yes, I still got to take my sleeping pills. Even though I got my treatment, I still have to keep up with all my other medications because that's just how it go. I'm on a lot of medications. But yeah, this is this is my first full treatment. My first full treatment that I've had. So yeah, I'll be getting these treatments for the rest of my life. Yeah. The rest of my life. But it's okay. I've come to terms with everything for the most part. Y'all pray for me. But no, I am doing good. I'm feeling a lot better now that I got my treatment and I got some rest. And, you know, today we took my baby out for ice cream. And, you know, just trying to get our minds off of everything. Get back in the groove of our everyday life, our routine and stuff like that. But yeah, now it's time to shower and get in the bed. I got to do a little bit of homework. But yeah, time to shower and get in the bed. So I will talk to you guys later.